One Zambia, one nation. Thank you so much for joining us for Zanis News. To present it, I'm Michelle Lubinda. Let's take a look at the stories that are making headlines. Over 14,000 farmers to receive maize and rice seed in Liuwa. Government hands over letters of offer to 255 farmers at Mansa resettlement. Chief Chikwanda installed. We begin the news with Western Province. Over 14,000 peasant farmers are earmarked to benefit from maize and rice seed purchased from Constituency Development Funds, CDF, in Liuwa constituency in Kalabo district. Town Council Secretary Kamwata Mponga said a total sum of 500,000 kwacha has been disbursed. Tina Mbewe has more in this report.
Over 14,000 peasant farmers of Liuwa constituency in Kalabo district of Western Province will benefit from the purchase of maize and rice seed using Constituency Development Fund, CDF. Kalabo Town Council Secretary Kamwata Mpongo, speaking when he kicked off the distributing exercise in Nayaka area of Lebondo Ward, disclosed that a total of 500,000 kwacha has been spent and will benefit a total of 14,415 farmers.
The total cost of this empowerment seed is valued at about 500,000 kwacha. And this is coming from the Liuwa CDF Constituency Fund. It is expected that this empowerment will improve your lives.
And Lebondo Ward Councillor Msiale said the local authority remains committed to ensuring that empowerment of this nature is upheld, adding that the UPND government's desire is to see people's lives improve. Meanwhile, Jenny Nyambe Ingombe, a beneficiary, thanked government for the gesture and urged her fellow beneficiaries to use the seed acquired for the intended purpose.
Tula tala ikono kufela. Lusikelo angali peuze kuyolekisa batili. Ditezi kulizirutuse. Lusakupa hape kwa muso usikwai kutoa kukatala. Uloekeze ona chwalo. Usikewa feleza fa.
With the onset of the 2022-2023 farming season, farmers across the country are preoccupied on how and where they are going to buy agricultural inputs. Hence, this gesture could not have come at a better time. Tina Mbewe for Zanis News, Kalabo District, Western Province.
Still in agriculture news, the Community-Oriented Development Program, CODEP, in Kasenenga District in Eastern Province, recently organized a seed and food fair in order to sensitize farmers on the availability of improved locally produced seeds. Here's the rest of the story.
Promoting the agriculture sector is one of the government's priorities to diversify the economy. The sector has the potential to contribute to the socio-economic development of the nation. However, the quality of seeds that farmers use has an impact on their productivity. It is for this reason that the Community-Oriented Development Program, CODEP, organized the Seed and Food Fair in Kasenenga District to create awareness among community members on the availability of locally produced seeds for different crop varieties.
Other than exhibiting seed and food made from it during today's seed fair, farmers from different districts will be exchanging seeds amongst themselves through cash selling, barter system, or even free of charge as basis to maintaining biodiversity and food security.
Eastern Province Permanent Secretary Paul Tole, who was represented by Assistant Secretary Clement Chilembo, says government will continue supporting such programs that are aimed at improving productivity for the farmers.
This event is important because it will enable trading, exchange and sharing of plant propagation materials, and the creation of market linkages among farmers. The healthy and productive competition we will see today shall help to instill confidence among the farmers, showcase their capabilities in farming and agro-business, and encourage more social interaction among them.
As preparations for the 2022-2023 farming season are about to begin, farmers ought to be sensitized on the quality of seeds to plant so as to improve productivity. Mutinta Mwemba, reporting for Zanis in Kasenengwa District, Eastern Province.
In a related story, Northern Province Agriculture Coordinator Sylvester Nyendwa says the distribution of inputs under the Farmer Input Support Program, FISIP, is progressing well. Mr. Nyendwa said companies that have been awarded tenders to supply fertilizer to farmers in the region have intensified the distribution exercise for the 2022-2023 farming season. More in the following report.
Agriculture remains a priority sector in the growth and poverty reduction agenda of the country. And in order to fully exploit the potential in the sector, government is supporting small-scale farmers with inputs under the Farmer Input Support Program, FISIP. Through this program, eligible farmers are supported with fertilizer and seed packs to allow them grow crops and improve the country's food security. Northern Province Agriculture Coordinator Sylvester Nyendwa said the area is on course with fertilizer distribution under the 2022-2023 farming season.
The physical stocks that we have as Northern Province so far, we have 14,200 for decompound. Physically, we have seen it. We have seen even the records. We have seen even the way it is being kept. We are very much satisfied with the stocks and even the way they have been stocked. The distribution will start immediately, especially when we start receiving the seeds. So it is the seed and the decompound and the urea that we want farmers to collect at the same time.
A check at some storage sheds in Kasama found several trucks loaded with fertilizer waiting to offload the commodity. Export Trading Group, ETG, is a company that has been contracted in Northern Province to supply top-dressing fertilizer.
We are ensuring our farmers that they will receive the fertilizer by end of the October, all allocation of 14,747 metric ton without a delay. Even you mentioned that places like Kaputa farmers are waiting. We already delivered stock that side. You know that our road for our province is not that much good.
Meanwhile, Synergy Northern Province Regional Manager Geoffrey Mushibwe has encouraged farmers to use certified seed.
Farmers should not use recycled seed because of the many negative aspects of recycled seed. Recycled seed tend to produce less. They are also susceptible to diseases and pests.
Taonga Nkoma reporting for Zanis in Kasama.
We now take you to Luapula Province, where government has handed over letters of offer to the first group of 255 farmers living in Mansa Resettlement Scheme as an empowerment initiative. Provincial Permanent Secretary Mait Mumba presented the documents to the farmers who have been living in the resettlement scheme for the last 33 years. Godfrey Chikumbi now reports.
They can't contain their joy after government presented to them letters of offer for their farm plots in the Mansa Resettlement Scheme. This is happening after these farmers have waited for the last 33 years. The Mansa Resettlement Scheme was established in 1989. Luapula Province Permanent Secretary Mighty Mumba has presented letters of offer to the first 255 out of the 1,353 farmers resettled here.
The main objective of the resettlement program is to make available farmland to Zambians who are unemployed, retrenched, retired, workers on contract, and the internally displaced persons. The Mansa Resettlement Scheme has been in existence for over 30 years, and that none of the farmers in the resettlement scheme acquired certificates of title.
Mr. Mumba wants the farmers to put to good use the land and resist the temptation of selling.
The coming of title deed certificates in resettlement schemes raises the profile of the scheme and pushes high the demand for land. Therefore, the temptation to sell the farm plot is very high. I therefore urge you to resist this temptation of selling your farms regardless of the situation you may find yourselves in.
Provincial Lands Resettlement Officer Mizayo Mwenda says the processing of letters of offer will continue and benefit the 8 resettlement schemes in Luapula
These resettlement schemes have a coverage area of 87,526 hectares with a total of 4,765 planned farm plots. Out of these planned farm plots, only 333 have been issued with letters of offer from Minister of Lands. There can never be better independence gift to the farmers of Mansa resettlement scheme than the gift of land.
Mansa District Commissioner Irene Chivweta says over 2,300 households will be lifted out of poverty through agriculture in this resettlement.
Without addressing the issue of title deeds for our farmers in resettlement scheme. The New Dawn government have provided letters of offer to our farmers in these schemes. It is only last year that we saw farmers in Matanda resettlement scheme acquiring letters of offer.
These farmers are grateful to government for the gesture.
To have this letter of offer in our hands today is a dream come true. We never thought we would live and see this day.
For Zanis TV, Godfrey Chikombi reporting in Mansa.
Chief Mukobela of the Ila people in Namwala district has urged stakeholders to continue supplementing government efforts in the provision of clean water in rural communities. The chief said this when the Makeni Islamic Society Trust drilled 5 boreholes under the Human Aid Zambia program in 5 villages within the chiefdom. Here is a report.
Provision of clean water to rural communities has been at the core of government. That is why cooperating partners such as the Makeni Islamic Society Trust has joined in supplementing government's efforts by drilling 5 boreholes in 5 villages of Mokobela Chiefdom at a cost of 195,000 kwacha.
This organization, there are different kind of projects. One of the project is assisting the running government in the development of the nation. For example, under that development, one area that we have to focus on is providing clean water to the people where water is not reaching. The project costed us 195,000 kwacha plus, doing all the boreholes in different areas. Overall cost was 195,000 kwacha.
The district leadership is elated with this gesture.
I would like to express my gratitude to the Human Aid Zambia Muslim community of Makeni Lusaka for this gesture. The many other gestures across the district that they have actually done.
This gesture, sir, is very important to our people of Namara, particularly people of Chief Mukobera's chiefdom. Your Royal Highness, your chiefdom is vulnerable to clean water, but because of these people who have come, at least now, Your Royal Highness, we are almost happy now because we are talking of recording 5 boreholes at a go in your chiefdom. Sir, what we have done today, would like you to extend to the whole chiefdom.
Chief Mokobela has since placed sustainability of the borehole facilities.
The same, what I will do, I will report to the Chief's Council to approach the coordinator to take an inventory of those boreholes that we have been given and supervise the committees that we will make, which will run these boreholes.
For Zanis, I'm Wailinda Piri, reporting in Namwala district of Southern Province.
In environmental news, Northwestern Province Permanent Secretary Grandson Katambi has reaffirmed government's commitment to environmental issues. Keneo Katambi says matters involving environmental sustainability have been given a strategic focus in the 8th National Development Plan. Details in the following report by Chaibu Nkoma.
Environmental protection is key to attaining sustainable development in the country. In Sorezi District, Kansanshi Mine, with stakeholders, hold an information sharing dialogue meeting to share ideas on environmental sustainability.
We're focusing today on environment. So the reason for that is that over the last year, we have consistently performed poorly in your eyes. And we need to try and discover the reason for that. And the poor performance is always in air quality and water quality. So we need to understand how we impact on those and the reason why we are performing poorly and how we can improve our performance.
Northwestern Provincial Administration says government attaches great importance to issues of the environment.
Environmental sustainability issues have been given a strategic focus even when we're developing our 8th National Development Plan. So it clearly shows the importance that government has placed on the issues of the environment. And I'm very pleased to see that we have representatives from the communities, because this is where issues are really felt. They are the people that get to bear the brunt of all the negative effects of the environment.
At the same meeting, the water utility company explains how environmental pollution has affected its operations.
Fourth one, deforestation along the same river. Because of building, because plots have been allocated everywhere, even where they were not supposed to be allocated, even in recharge points, in Dumbo areas, there are plots people are building there. So we are affecting the underground water because of our building.
The participants have appreciated the information sharing meeting.
On protecting the environment, I've learned on some ways which we can use. As a person, personally, I feel we need to be responsible for our own waste, how we manage our waste on the environment.
For Zanis News, I'm Chebun Koman, Nsorezi District, Northwestern Province.
Also in the news from Lusaka Province, as Zambia turns 58 on October 24, 2022, the Anglican Cathedral of the Holy Cross has reflected on the significance that the building has to Zambia's independence. The iconic building hosted a church service a day after Zambia attained independence in 1964. Take a look at this report by Ntalekani.
The Anglican Cathedral of the Holy Cross is one of the most iconic buildings in Zambia's history. When Lusaka was declared a capital city in 1935, one of the requirements by law was for the area to have a cathedral building. The building, which has hosted the likes of the late Queen Elizabeth II and the late Ethiopian Emperor Haile Selassie, was completed in 1963. As Zambia turns 58 on October 24, the Cathedral of the Holy Cross, Anglican Diocese of Lusaka, Dean and Vicar General Canon Charlie Thomas reflects on the link between Zambia's independence and the church.
After the Independence Day, the next day, there was a church service here, and as a Thanksgiving service. And so everybody walked into the cathedral, and among the artifacts that was brought into the cathedral is a flag, the first Zambian flag that came into the cathedral. And that flag was placed on the altar, and the service started and prayers were done. That same flag is the one that is now here on the cathedral wall. We haven't changed it, touched it, it is still the same. We're even scared of cleaning it because it has its historical element to it.
Very Reverend Charlie Thomas says the cathedral has hosted all the Republican presidents the country has ever had.
We've been privileged to host all the presidents at some time or the other in this cathedral. And sometimes they've also come for an Anglican cathedral function because we may have celebrated 50 years, and then we invite them and the presidents would come together. And we have been also privileged to host them on one bench, 3-4 levels of leadership. And it also gives the opportunity for the cathedral for reconciliation.
Mtalakani for Zanis News in Lusaka.
Finally, in the news, Chief Luchembe of the Bemba people in Kanchibia district in Mchinga province has called on traditional leaders to work with government if development is to be achieved in rural areas. Chief Luchembe said this during the coronation ceremony of newly installed Chief Chikwanda of the Bemba people in Mpika district. We have the details in this report.
The presence of a traditional leader in a chiefdom helps to enhance development. It is for this reason that Chief Luchembe of Kanchibia district has called on traditional leaders to work with the government of the day for development to be attained in the chiefdoms. The traditional leader was speaking during the coronation ceremony of newly installed Chief Chikwanda in Mpika district.
Ichakubalira pofe lyonse imfumu chonse nga yaisa pabufumutu abanokusapota government of the day. Pena pote pakushayo pantung ubuyantanshi tatwaka kwatyo ubuyantanshi nangu tamwaka kwatyo ubuyantanshi nga tatwika tenene ntungulu shabuteko. Intungulu shabuteko shibombera pamupene neshamfumu.
Chief Chikwanda says he will work with government and stakeholders to bring development to the area.
Not making any promises, but to look at the problems of the chiefdom, try to see how we can sort it out. Of course, in liaison with the government officials, all departmental heads.
And Mpika District Commissioner David Siame has welcomed the newly installed Chief Chikwanda. Peggy Gutinho for Zanis and Mpika, Mchinga Province.
That item from Mchinga Province brings us to the end of the news, but before we go, a recap of stories that made headlines. Over 14,000 farmers to receive maize and rice seed in Liuwa. Government hands over letters of offer to 255 farmers at Mansa resettlement. And Chief Chikwanda installed. That was the news on behalf of the entire production team. This has been Michelle Luwinda. Thank you so much for watching. Goodbye and God bless.